remember there's always three elements involved. We have a criminal, we have an object, and we have the absence of the guardian. Those are the three. But when we look at the object, which is in this case the livestock, I always use the example that if I steal a cell phone and I want to sell it, I cannot sell it for its real value. I need to sell it for what the person is prepared to pay. But when it gets to livestock, they never lose their value. If an animal is 10,000 rand worth and I steal it, I can sell it for 10,000 rand because that's the worth. And that's what makes it so lucrative for people to steal livestock, because it's a commodity that never loses value.
Maphodisa a tla tlo thusa ma. And ha mohlomong o fihla o di thuso o etsa jwang wa fihla o bolella ntho ntate ka tlung o etsa jwang ha o thola o di thusa.
Ba kgone ho nyatja go ba di shebe bo ka sekgong ka mo bona ha di ya bogole mo ka sa fihlelleng teng.
Go fihla ka jarateng o bolella ntate and then letsa o ile mapodiseng o la ipatlela tsona pele.
Jena ka bansole ka nnete wa nke fela ga di nyametse mme ka nte ha ka ba re letho
Ke kgale mosebeletsa.
dilo gore di thuse batho go tshwana le he ba na le meletlo di khono motho a khono e mothuse a reke e mothuse mo mosebetsing wa gae ke ira business ka tsona ka re ke rekisetsa community e bile gape ke di rekisa le go fantasy ke di tsa esa ke business nna ke di tsa byalo because le ke thoma o di rua since ke na le 18 years now I've got 70 so ke lebeletse gore ke business a kre bana le tsona ka matsatsi a otlhe ya di tla utsiwa bjang ka re gore go tlo di utswa o tla kra ba le temo tsona ka nako ena di nna di noši ne di sena motho a di shebileng ne re sena badisa
yana Basotho ba na le kitso ga dikgomo le na le shebile haholo ba buti ba le ba tshola ba Basotho
a kre Basotho ba di disa ebile hape ba di sebetsa ba di dipa ba dira metlhole ka ofela
okay ena re boela ko pointing ya motho ntse le tse o utsweditswe go tle yang gore hana utswetsa ne a sna ba disa
na sena badisa
ene le saka da ha itle yang gore ba di utswe because ke tse dintsi ga le tse dintsi
ba di utswa ko nahe ba di utswitse go sekgweng ba di utswa ko nako ka mosakeng ba di nkile go sekgweng ka di tsama di noši a dina modisa
te ntse mo sgane ba di tlwetse yalo di sena motho a motlhokomela
byalo
so motho o loses in that
thata le hona
and hana ko ne etsagala o na ya ko maphodiseng or o lekile
o reportile ko maponiseng
maphodisa a thusa a kere gona nong go founa gore he ke a bethiwa ba tla ba mathile ha ba founa ka dikgomo le gona ba acta ka pele yalo
acta ka pele nako engwe a kore go gabedi nako engwe ba tla ka pele nako engwe ga batle ka pele
a re go le shebelela ko morago kwa kgwebo ya dikgomo e improvile no in terms of gore kgomo maybe nako ele ya kgale ne no khona reka kgomo ka price ya ko tlase gona nong bona gore ke le bona gore ke business e leng gore e viable le right
gore di improvile ya a isa tshwana le ko morago kwa
ko morago no
ke a utlwahala
no hiragalang ko morago ke renya go itse gore gona no maybe le
a ke di price ne di le ko tlase di price ne di le ko tlase le go tlhabolla dikgomo gore di nnes di tlhabologe ne go le ko tlase gona yaanong go right ka re khona di tlhabolla gore breed so he ba e batla re ba fe yona
nako ya tsa lona dikgomo ne di utswiwa nako ele go etsaetseng di timetse kae ne se bile ne le badisa ka nako ya teng
ne di sena badisa ne di nna di noši ko nageng
e beletsa yang le sala le batla matsatsi before
le bra matsatsi ha ke ya ke re ko ke ya ko tsona ke di phutha ka kra le tse di ntse rileng tse 5 ha di teng so ka ya ko maponiseng ka o report maponisa ke nnete a wa ba le no re tla ba tlisa tsona ke nnete ba ntse ba mpatlisa ele beke engwe ya ba gore go na le fantasy yona ele ne re le ko yona ba ne ba le teng maponisa ko nna ne ke sa ya ko so ya ba gore hentse ba di sheba batho ba kena mola ba e bona tshipiere ke tshipiere e batlang he ba thoma ba mora ba re mona kgomo tse ke tsamang a thoma ya no ba shikine le bashimane ebile a se batho ba baholo ba thoma ba tshwara mola ya ba gore ai la mile ya no di acha
ba ba tswalela bashimane ba teng
ba ba tswalela bashimane ba teng
mara ke sure no ba tswile
gona ya no case ya teng a se fele ina mshe ka bena e tsamela 6 years 5 years baba o mo setsa tlhobofetse steering sa teng sa mahodua o tlhobofetse ya no le ponisa le lona le tlhobofetse
le ba go kae
ba ko makapane le ponisa le lona le tshwere case la mo moreteng le tlhobofetse le lona ke eme fela ya no
mo South Africa sentse ba lebella gore batho ba unang dikgomo ke makgwa thata mo eleng gore ba focus gore batho ba ntsho le bona ba una dikgomo ka gore le re bala mo ditabeng ra ithuta ba la ka makgwa a unang di plus a ba unang dikgomo le nana gore batho ba ntsho ba ba ikinora gantši
a krea no makgwa kona a unang di plus thata rona ha re ba bangata ba ba unang dipolasa ya utlwahala.
Livestock theft is rising for 7 years. And then we do have a decline for about 6 years, and then it starts increasing again for 7 years. For the past 26, 27 years, we do have an average that's quite close to around about 28,000 cases per year. That's now livestock theft cases. What we've seen from our research, I am a farmer, I am also teaching at a university, and I do have some students that are doing research on livestock theft. One of my students have completed a master's degree in last year, and from the interviews and her master's study, we have determined that about 87% cases in South Africa is organized crime related, and about 13% is for survival. And I always say, as you must remember, the bigger the vehicle, the more cattle are stolen, or the more animals are stolen. Someone that's stealing by foot will only steal one. One with a bicycle might still steal two. One with a small truck might steal three. But people with big trucks do steal a lot of animals. If we go and look at the current tendencies of livestock theft, and we look at the perpetrators and those kind, livestock offenders don't carry that. They don't care from whom they steal. They don't care if it's a white or a black person. It's all about the object. It's about the value of the object. And in 70% of the cases, they don't even know the owner of the animals. Your perpetrator doesn't see race, color, or anything. Your perpetrator is motivated by the object.
What's gone is gone, Ender. 80 is the call. I'm with your son, and he's beating you. Hands down. 80 bid up here. All through. All done. No more. Lot number 3. Now first, this is Hannes Beneke once again. And dames en heren, Hannes Beneke is a volgende bill. He's really got a lovely confirmation. He's adaptable, ladies and gentlemen. You can see the trades. I start the bidding. Who says? Let's go. 60, 50, 40, 40,000. 30,000, I'm going to get 30, thank you, sir. I'm going to get 30, I'm going to get 30, 30, I'm going to get down to place it, I'm going to get 30 bid. At 30,000, I'm going to get 30, I'm going to get 30, I'm going to get 5, thank you, sir. I'm going to get 35, buy it again. I'm going to get 35, I'm going to get 35, 40 bid, I'm going to get 40 bid now. At 45,000, thank you, sir. I'm going to get 50. At 50,000, thank you, Steph. I'm going to get 50,000, I'm going to get 50, Steph. I'm going to get 50, I'm going to get 50, 55, I'm going to get 55. At 55 on the left, I'm going to get 60 over there. I'm going to get 60, I'm going to get 60, I'm going to get 60,000 now. At 60,000, the box, I'm going to get 60, I'm going to get 60, I'm going to get 60 to box, I'm going to get 65, thank you, Hendrik, I'm going to get 65. At 65 with Hendrik, I'm going to get 65, I'm going to get 65. He's worth a lot more, ladies and gentlemen. There are only 2 bulls on sale. At 65, it's Hendrik, he's on my left. 70 to you, sir, thank you. Hendrik is worth much more. You know that? It's up to you now, but 70. 5 more. 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, 75, but anybody else? 75. Yes or no, Savants? 75 I sell to my spotter over here. 75 going. 1, 2, 3. First lot at 75,000. Bring it away, bring it away, go on, yeah, bring it 40, 40, bring it 40, bring it 40, 40, thank you, sir, bring it 40, 40, bring it 40, 40, bring it 45, thank you, sir, bring it 45 there. And a good 50, bring it 50, bring it 50, bring it 55, thank you, bring it 55, 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 and a good 60, bring it 60, bring it 60, bring it 60,000, now 70, bring it 65, bring it 65 now, and 65,000, bring it 65, over here, 70 over there, bring it 70, 70, bring it 70, it's 100,000, it's 100,000, it's 100,000. It's 100,000, it's 100,000, it's 100,000, it's 100,000 now. It's 100,000, it's a top bull, come on guys. It's 100,000, it's 100,000, I want to get on 100,000, I sell. If I hear no more. 100,000 up here, confirm that please sir, up here. Confirm your bid. That's woman here, 100,000, all through, all done. No more.
With the poverty in the country, that's one half of the problem. The other half of the problem is the police that is not at all interested in addressing or solving the cattle theft problem, because it's always seen that the thieves are poor and from who they steal are wealthy, and it's always a black and white issue. So in 90% of the cases, it's the black people that's poor that steal from the white farmers, and the police don't have sympathy with that, and neither do the courts. Because even if it goes to court, then most of the time they lose the file and the DNA can't be tested, the laboratories is behind. So we find that the thieves are increasing all the time, and the frequency of theft has also increased. If you have high prices like today, that would increase the theft because suddenly the cattle is worth much more. And we are one of the few countries in Southern Africa that don't have a system where you can trace the cattle. In Namibia and in Botswana, you have a bell that you swallow as the cattle and you are identified. We have done nothing about traceability in this country. So even if the cattle are stolen, there's no ways to identify it. We all have markings, but it's not the same as electronic tracking systems. We've had quite a bad experience about 2 years ago. 3 of our stud bulls, which today would have fetched between 100 and 200,000 rand, were all 3 killed on the same night. And they were only able to cart away the meat of one of them, and the 2 other carcasses was just left. The police came and they were not interested to assist, so it's one of those, nothing ever came from it. So we have to patrol 24 hours a day, 7 days a week with armed guards. And we patrol, and we've put up cameras, very large cameras that's integrated. So we have to take the law in our hands in terms of patrolling and trying to improve security. We do not depend on the police, we do not depend on government. There's absolutely no assistance coming from them. And I mean, if you look at the moment with COVID in the country, nobody gets salary increases, but government last week announced that as from the 1st of March, we as farmers have to increase the minimum wage by 16%. So firstly, you can't afford it, you can't pay the 16%, and you've got to spend so much money on security to try and secure your animals. So it's a vicious circle.
And very, very definitely one of the favourites on sale. 105, it's 100, 500, it's 100, it's 100. Dames en heren, de lang als de naam in die bosveld gemaakt.
If we get our country to abide by the law and our producers, we will reduce livestock. But until that day comes, I don't think we will really make a difference. And if you look at the current identification systems that we do have in the country, the branding and the tattoo system, are actually only used by 20% of animal owners. 80% does not comply with legislation. But if we can just make our farming community starting to be more responsive and abide by the rule of law, we may be able to reduce livestock cruelty. There's a tendency in the farming community not to trust the criminal justice. And you can go and read all over the world, from Thailand to Pakistan to the United States, in Europe, wherever, it's exactly the same. I have my own conclusions and my own things that I believe in, but I haven't researched it. But I do think it's something to do with personality.